Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Who have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and like my videos. In today's video, we are going to discuss about OSI model and the 7 layers of it. First of all, what is OSI model? OSI model helps in understanding how data is transferred from one computer to another. Usually LAN cable is used to transmit, but when it comes to different operating systems, OSI model is required. It was introduced by ISO, International Organization for Standardization, in 1984. What are the 7 layers of OSI model? Application, presentation, session, transport, network, data link, and physical layers. These are the 7 layers of OSI model. In these 7 layers, the transmission of the data takes place from the application layer to the physical layer. And the physical layer is maintained in between where the process is taken place end to end, and the receiving of data is from the physical layer and to the application layer. Let's go in this layer. Requesting of the contents from the website and returning the same in the required format is done. It has the different types of protocols in this layer. Google browser or any other browsers use HTTP or HTTPS. For the file transfer, FTP is used. And the same email uses SMTP to transfer the files. And next, these data are sent to the next layer, that is presentation layer. Next comes the presentation layer. In presentation layer, the data received is in the form of characters and the numbers. It performs the functions such as translation, data compression and encryption, and the vice versa of it. In translation, the required or the received data is converted into the binary data form. In data compression, it compresses the huge file into a smaller one. In encryption, the file is scrambled data so that the authorized parties can understand the information easily. So, to understand it better, let me take an example. In Google browser, the data is received in the format of HTTPS and the link. Those are converted into a binary data form. Hence, it has to be compressed. Next comes the session layer. In this layer, it manages connection between the client and the server in the form of a request and the response. It performs the 3 functions, that is authorization, authentication, and session management. In authorization, it checks who you are. And in authentication, it checks whether you have permission to access the data or not. And in further process, it manages all this data and the server responds to the client. Next comes the transport layer. Rather than telling the layer, it is a transmission path of data. It performs 3 functions: segmentation, flow control, and error control. In segmentation, the data is divided into segments which are divided into port number and sequence number. In flow control, it controls amount of the data transmitted. Let me take an example. Let me consider 2 devices. One device is transferring the file in the speed of 50 Mbps and the other is receiving at the 10 Mbps. So the flow control will reduce the 50 Mbps into the 10 Mbps, and the reverse is done by the flow control. Next one is the error control. It performs automatic repeat request, that is, if the data is not received or it is lost, it finds out the corrupted segment. In this, 2 services are performed, that is TCP and UDP. TCP is nothing but connection oriented. It is fast compared to UDP and provides no feedback. In UDP, it is connection less oriented and it is slow compared to TCP, and it also provides the feedback. Next layer is the network layer. The data transmitted from the transport layer is called the data packets. Its functions are logical addressing, path addressing, and routing. In addressing, each equipment on the path between source and the destination must have an address. Internet addresses, assignment of the addresses, translation between network layer addresses and other addresses. In routing, process of deciding what path a packet must take to reach destination, and routing protocols are there. The 6th layer is data link layer. It contains IP addresses of sender and the receiver. It performs accessing the media by framing. The each data contained in it is called the frames. It controls how data is placed and received from media by media access control, and error detection is done in this layer. Next comes the physical layer. In this, the frames are converted into the signals. In case of copper cables, the signals are in the form of electric. In case of optical fiber cable, the signals are light signals. In case of air, the signals are in the form of radio signals. At the receiver, it receives the signals and it converts into the bits, and that into the frame and to the application layer. And later on, the message signal is received. By this, the required message which is sent is received. And I hope you all have enjoyed my video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Bye bye.